Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Prospects Corner here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Peter Baracchini and Dayton Reimer. Peter, how's it going?
It's going great. Yeah. We're in the midst of the Olympics. We're winding down with both women's and men's hockey. Both Canadian teams are in a good spot. Women are going for gold, and then the quarterfinals are happening right now. So this is the 2 weeks that we wanted. This was the entertainment that everyone has been waiting for so long, especially on the men's side with the NHLers. But yeah, really excited with how the whole entire tournament's going right now. And then camps just started up for NHL. Not camps, practices resumed. Yeah. It kind of feels like a training camp again with being off for 2 weeks. But a lot of good hockey all around, and obviously a lot of good prospect talk coming our way. So
100%. We got the WHL Top Prospects Game this Thursday as well, which is, I believe it's the first time this has gone on. OHL always has their types of things, and WHL thought, well, let's do it too. And they've got some great talent, as you know, Dayton. So we'll talk about that in this episode as well. So how's it going?
It is also good. I was just saying to you guys beforehand, but literally just got back from a 6-hour drive from Brandon, Manitoba. I've been sitting here for about half an hour before we started recording. And Saskatoon is currently blizzarding, so I'm very much stuck here to watch more Olympics and hockey. That's all I get to do now. It's fantastic. I've been watching tons of Olympics, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Last week, several students told me that I was the best substitute teacher for having Olympic hockey playing during time. But you got it. It's once every 4 years.
Exactly. You got it. You got to get those marks right there, man.
Exactly. And what are they going to do? I'm a sub.
No, it's watching. I remember doing that when I was a kid. We had the Olympics every time. We were watching it almost all the time. And when it was in Vancouver here, 2010, that was
no kidding.
Watching it all the time. So yeah, it's fun, and it's just so crazy how long ago that was actually.
Yeah,
and, right.
16 years.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has for sure. All right, and I wasn't in school. I was actually teaching at that time as well. So that in my past life, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Olympics are, you say, it's almost done. We got the gold medal will be handed out next weekend, and quarterfinals are going on. So, but we're don't know what that was. I think Alexa is talking to me in the background. But yeah, it's fun with everything going on, and of course the draft is pretty much. It's coming up really quickly, and our prospect profiles will be out pretty quickly, actually, in the next month or so, actually even sooner. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're ramping up a lot of that coverage. But today we're going to actually talk about the draft. And Peter, you were part of a poll OHL Brock Otten put together, and put a bunch of scouts, bunch of writers got involved in this, and I put together a top 10 for the OHL. These are just OHL players, the top 10 OHL prospects for the 2026 draft. And of course, there's so many, it seems like, every year. And this year, there's a lot of OHLers that could be drafted in the first round. So we're just going to go through the consolidated list first. That was published on OHL Prospects Brock's site. Peter, let's start with, we'll go with the top 5 to start here.
Yeah, the consolidated list, it starts off with obviously the top 5 is very, very competitive, and it kind of feels like this is where the consensus is going. And depending on how you look at it too, everyone's going to have a debate for 1 and 2, but right now Brock's list says with the consolidated poll, Chase Reed is number 1, defenseman from the Sioux Greyhounds. 2 is Caleb Malhotra, center for the Brantford Bulldogs. At 3, it is Ethan Belchetz, left wing for the Windsor Spitfires. Adam Novotny, dual wing, left or right for the Peterborough Petes at 4. And then at 5, it is Nikita Klepov from the Saginaw Spirit.
That's I mean, a lot of these guys, of course, Chase Reed, we've talked about a lot on the show, and we're doing the back and forth of who would go first over Keaton Verhoff, who's in the NCAA. But yeah, he's probably the top guy in the OHL right now. Like I said, talk about first overall pick, possibly. Dayton, what do you think about this top 5 to start here? Any real surprises for the OHL? It looks to be pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's pretty expected at this point. This is where the top 5 guys are, who the top 5 guys are, I guess. I don't know if Klepov is getting enough love for what he's been doing. Let me just pull up his stats here. Him coming in at 5th. He just hasn't been in sort of the larger discussion, I think. I think that's fair to say. But, he's on pace for a 93-point season. 31 goals, 54 games. Very, very solid production from... Is this his first season with the Saginaw Spirit?
Yes.
Yeah. So glad that he's getting some consideration there. I think that's the only thing I got to say.
Yeah,
apologies if I'm a little low energy, hence my previous comment.
No, I mean, it's pretty not so really surprising, this top 5. I mean, all these guys are we've been talking about them potentially being, I mean, Klepov maybe not, but the rest of them are kind of being talked about in that top, at least the top 15 area. So especially the top 3. I mean, they're going to be potentially top 5, maybe those 3 guys. So maybe now we're going towards the rest of the top 10, Peter. Maybe some names that a lot of people may not know as we keep going. So who rounds out the top 10 here?
Yeah, it starts off with 6, Ryan Rubrick from the Niagara Ice Dogs. 7 is Brooks Rogowski, center for the Oshawa Generals, and he's been one of those big surprises this year with the tool set and toolkit that he brings offensively with his size. 8 is Alessandro Di Iorio, center from the Sarnia Sting. Number 9 is Jackson Cover, wing from the London Knights. And number 10 is Thomas Vandenberg, a center from the Ottawa 67s.
Yeah, I mean, there's some names that, like I say, not as recognizable as some of the big guys that we've talked about on the show. So it's kind of interesting to see some of these on here, and we'll talk maybe a bit more about them as we go towards the draft, of course. Dayton, any thoughts on the rest of this top 10?
I really like Brooks Rogowski. I got confused with his birth date last year. I was looking at, maybe some potential late second round picks that I could put in my ranking. And I started looking into Brooks Rogowski, and I was like, oh man, this guy looks great. Oh wait, he's not eligible till next year. I guess I'll take him off my list. So I've been trying to follow him along a little bit. He's a huge player at 6'6", and maybe not a ton of points, but I think he plays a really smart all around game. Definitely has some of those skill sets that is going to make him a high pick. Fringe first round is kind of where he's projected right now. And having him among the top 10 players in the OHL, I think is very deserved. The rest of the list, some guys that maybe most people wouldn't have heard of before. Jackson Cover, Thomas Vandenberg, I haven't paid too much attention to them yet. And then Rubrick, he's kind of fallen off a little bit from where he was expected to be, which is unfortunate. I was hoping he was going to have a big sort of draft season, but that hasn't really panned out.
Yeah, so I mean, like I say, we'll talk about a bit more about these guys as we keep going through the draft, our coverage here. So Peter, I mean, this is the top 10 of the consolidated list. And there's probably some differences in what you ranked the top 10. Of course, you submitted the list, and they kind of put it together and saw who got more. And of course, on the article, there's the highest ranking, the lowest ranking. What were the biggest differences between this one and your list?
Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on the top 5 because it's more or less my list. I had interchangeable. I had Caleb Malhotra number 1 and Chase Reed 2, but I was going back and forth a lot because it is now a difficult conversation. Are you going with the potential of a 60, 70 point defender, right shot that plays with a lot of pace, a lot of energy, aggressive on both sides of the puck? I still find a little bit of concerns with his over aggressive tendencies that could get him out of position, but he recovers so well that it kind of negates that factor. But it can be a concern at the next level when you're not necessarily overthinking, but you're thinking very quickly. You could get out of position. It's always something that always comes in the back of a mind, especially when you're dealing with offensive type defensemen. But he's so well, or he plays so well that he's deserving of the top spot. And for me, I just prefer the centerman. I think Caleb Malhotra has progressively gotten better throughout the season. That's the only reason why. That's not to say Chase Reed hasn't gotten better as well. But Malhotra to me is highly skilled, great patience, great offensive IQ, great management with his off the puck play as well. Great 200-foot player. So to me, he kind of has that edge. But 3 is pretty much the same. I had Belchetz at 3, Novotny at 4, Klepov at 5. The only thing why Klepov is a little bit low is because of the consistency away from the game. Kind of feels like he wants it to come to him and he's not chasing it as much. But there are times where he kind of makes himself invisible, and then you just see him jump into a play. And that was very evident at the OHL Top Prospects game where he was displaying that, where it's like, okay, well, why is he getting involved? And then all of a sudden he jumps right into a play for a loose puck. Okay, he's biding his time, basically. So that's, to me, is reason why Klepov is kind of middle of the pack, but could still definitely move up if the team really likes that offensive skill set and the pace and the deceptiveness that he brings. I think he could go higher. It's just right now he's middle of the pack. From 6 to 10, that's where it gets a little bit interesting. Rubric was 6. I had him at 7, so just one stop below. I had Diorio at 6. A little bit higher, or I may be a little bit higher on him than others. Yeah, he may not put up the points, but he's just so smart. He's very sound positionally. He knows where to find the open spaces. He knows how to draw in attention and create that for his teammates as well. Even though the offensive numbers may not be there, I like the way that he opens things up and makes things easier for his teammates, but also being very deceptive in the tight spaces and the high traffic areas as well. Jackson Cover, I had 8. He's down at 9. Again, a lot of raw aspects to his game, but he pushes the pace and he's always in there buzzing nonstop. I mean, he takes advantage of scoring opportunities, does the little things well too, where he's in on the attack, getting that body positioning and wins those battles. At number 9, I had Ryder Cali. He's listed as an honorable mention. The highest ranking went to him at 8th. Just one spot above where I had him. And I really liked him at the Top Prospects Game. I thought he really stood out. Same with Brooks Rogowski too. He didn't quite make my list. I had Pierce Bowie at my number 10 spot. He was also an honorable mention. The way that Bowie plays, and not necessarily reminiscent of Cameron Schmidt, but the offensive goal set or the offensive scoring abilities, being a smaller player, I feel like Bowie has a little bit more of that willingness to go into the corners a little bit more, but again, kind of nitpicking here and there. Vandenberg and Rogowski were also other names I considered. Didn't crack my list, but I can understand why they made this list here.
Yeah, I mean, there were, you mentioned a couple of the honorable mentions: Ryder Cali, Pierce Bowie, Beckham Edwards, Vladimir Drevecki, and Alexander Bilecki, and also Adam Nemitz at the end there. I mean, there's of course, there's always the preference of when you put together a list like this with the different people. There's always like you mentioned, the opinion of who's better and who's not between the two. It's going to be interesting to see where they all go in the draft. OHL is always a strong league. Every draft, it seems. There's always quite a few first round picks, second rounders. It's a strong league. I mean, there's just so many different players that come from it. And of course, there were a lot that played last year and they're now in the NCAA and ending up they're actually doing pretty well as well. So it's still a really good development league.
Yeah. And just one more point on Bowie as well. I wrote my write-up on him, and even Brock wrote his write-up on him as well, too. And he writes that when we look back on this class of 5 years, we're going to say, why wasn't he taken a little bit higher? Because of that goal scoring ability, because of that pace, because of that speed. He's a great skater, too. That's why I kind of feel like maybe he may be a little bit lower. He may be a late second, early third. But we've seen how those types of players play to a level that's worthy of a mid to early second round pick. And that's where I basically have him Bowie right now, where you don't know exactly where he's going to place would come draft day, but the skill and the goal scoring abilities is very exceptional right now, even in a very tough league. And given his size too, that may play a factor, but again, still really high on him in terms of possibly pushing that level as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you mentioned Jake Gensel type upside. I mean, Gensel wasn't a high draft pick, and he's one of the top players in the NHL now. Yeah. So it's tough when you're looking at young players like this. The development paths are so different for guys, and they might not be as developed now, but 5 years down the road, like, they're a different player, and that ends up happening a lot of the time. So that's what makes it fun to cover these prospects for sure. All right, moving from the OHL to the WHL, and this is Top Prospects Game, which I mentioned is going to be coming up on Thursday. At the Langley Event Center, which is right near here where I live here. So that I didn't realize it was this close. I should actually go to it. But yeah, it's going to be fun to see it for the first time. So Dayton, I'll start with you. Players to watch in this game.
Sure. Yeah, I've picked 3 from each side. Kind of going with guys who I think could either surpass expectations or have some hype to live up to, and could really shine at this event. So we'll start with the West, quote unquote, the home team. JP Hurlburt is going to be, I think, the biggest star on that team. He is still leading the WHL in points. He's just been having an incredible season, and putting him here kind of with the All-Stars in his conference. That's going to, I think, basically just let him shine. And as a reminder, he's currently sitting with 84 points, 36 goals in 55 games. Yeah, this is a special player. He's making a very strong argument that he should be a lottery pick. We'll see if that happens, but just an incredible rookie season. After him, I've been a huge fan of Noah Kosick since I saw him play with the Swift Current Broncos earlier this season. He is a very fast, skilled player, and I think he's gained a lot of confidence since he broke into the league with the Calgary Hitmen. He's now with the Seattle Thunderbirds, and he's doing quite well over there, but he hasn't really gained a lot of draft attention. He's a little undersized. We've talked a lot about those kind of players here.
Yeah.
So I think putting him in that spotlight will give him a chance to shine alongside some of those big stars like JP Hurlburt, and someone who could maybe boost his draft stock a little bit, Mathis Preston. He's really plummeted over the last couple of months, I think we could say. He hasn't been in that top conversation that he was expected to be in at the beginning of the season. He looked really good at I think it was the Hlinka Gretzky, or is it the under 18s or something like that? Just hasn't had that impact. Now he's, instead of playing with the Spokane Chiefs, he's with the Vancouver Giants. So he's going to be in his home arena. I think that should really help with his confidence. And we know that he is a great skater. He has a lot of, awareness and intelligence on the ice. It just hasn't been clicking as much as we'd like to see, going into the NHL draft. So those 3 guys, I think, are my top 3. Beyond, Captain Carson Carrolls and defenseman Ryan Lynn. Those guys are going to be big stars back there. I was picking guys who were maybe a little more underrated. Over in the East, you have Captain Daxon Rudolph, one of my favorites. I've talked about him before. I'll talk about it again. But not today. I'm going to highlight 3 other guys. First is Zach Olsen with the Saskatoon Blades. He's been one of my favorite players since watching him last year as a rookie. He is just like he's a gritty tooth and nails kind of player. He goes hard every single shift, and he's got some very good puck skills. Very smart two-way player. Reminds me a lot of Braden Coots with just like not quite as high of a ceiling. There's a lot of the same tendencies though, where he never has that, giving up attitude. He always tries to make a play. He's, making passes. He's taking shots. He's fighting for the puck. He's back checking. He's forechecking. He can kind of do it all, and he's really good at it. He just kind of needs a little bit more opportunity, maybe. This is a great place for that. Of course, you have the Ruck twins. I'll group them in together, Liam and Marcus. They've been doing really well in the dub right now. They sit third and fourth in points with 80 and 79. Liam Ruck, a little bit more of a well-rounded player. I get them confused. And so if I'm saying the wrong name, let me know. I think Liam is the more well-rounded one. He's got 33 goals in 54 games. And then Marcus, he's a bit more of the playmaker. He's got 64 assists in 54 games. So it'll be neat to see them on this sort of this all-star stage. And then one more guy, defenseman Ben McBeth for the Calgary Hitmen. He's been doing really well this season. I got to see him twice in Saskatoon. Another player who I think is a very good skater. Really can, move across that blue line and patrol that on forecheck or back check. He's more on the patient side, so I'm wondering if he'll get a chance to show off some of his offensive capabilities, because he does have them. He's been gaining confidence over the season and can do some pretty good things with a puck, has a pretty good shot. But on a defense where he's splitting time with some other really good defensemen, maybe this is a chance that he can partner up with someone like Rudolph and play more of that offensive game.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've talked about the OHL having a lot of talent. WHL has a ton of it too. Of course, they always have first-round picks as well in the draft. And last year they had quite a few. This year looks like there's going to be quite a few in the first 2 rounds as well. So lots of them are going to be in this game. I said Thursday. It's on Wednesday. I've got days just meshing together. It's on Wednesday. So yeah, it's coming up really quick. It'll be tonight as you're watching this. So Peter, what are you looking at for players here?
Really tough for me to watch WHL games because of the time zone. It is a little bit difficult, but I do try my best and hopefully able to stay awake for this game. Yeah, obviously I'm going to start with Team West as well. Go from west to east. Obviously Hurlburt. Unfortunately, Ryan Lind is probably not going to be playing. I saw that he is dealing with an injury, so sad face. Really wanted to watch him play, dominate with that, just with that poise and confidence that he has on the back end. But still a lot of players that I want to get a kind of a better look at. And one of them I'm going to do is Jordan Duguay from the Portland Winterhawks. Quietly having almost under a point per game. He has 53 and 54, 32 last year and 68 with the Portland Winterhawks, on pace for 67. Yeah, he's on that smaller side, 5'11", 174. But you know how some teams could strike gold with some of these highly skilled, dynamic, highly creative playmakers in the later round. And this is one of those players that definitely could have a shot and be a very decent upside pick for a team. Great speed, great edges, very creative. As I said, great puck control. Really want to see what he can bring, because he's having a really solid kind of first half of the season, and even so on the second half right now. 10 points in his last 10 games too. So the production is there. We'll really want to see what he could bring. Jakub Vanacek from the Tri-City Americans, double-digit goals, 12 already, 29 points in 44 games. Again, what are those defenders that was in that top of 30-ish for North America, and one of those names that really wasn't quite on my radar. So now this is a perfect opportunity to see what he could bring overall with his game. Good size, 6'1", 191, decent production on the back end. Really want to get a little bit more detail to his game. The other is Matthias Vanhanen, and I believe he may be a overager this year, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe Prospects does have a little bit of a scouting report from 2025, and that draft has already passed. Again, kind of like Duguay, highly skilled playmaker. The way that he's able to adapt and draw players in, be very smart in that regards and open things up. It's very, very impressive. And it was on display at the World Juniors this year. I was about to say he's only 18 years old. So maybe he is first year draft eligible. I don't see anything otherwise, but if I'm mistaken, maybe he is or isn't. I'm just going to put a little asterisk there. If he is first year eligible, great, because last year he had 47 in the SM Liga, 67 already in 49 games with Everett Silvertip. So to me, you're already smashing last year's record or your best in terms of points. That to me is impressive, and you're taking a big step forward with your development in your draft year. So to me, I want to see a little bit more of what he could bring as well overall. I think the dynamicism and the playmaking ability is right there. Good opportunity to get a better read on him. In Team East, the Ruck twins, I mean, it's just absolutely insane how well they're able to feed off each other and read each other so well. It kind of felt like when I was doing my first set of rankings, I was more impressed with Liam than I was with Marcus, even dating back to the Memorial Cup run, where Liam was a little bit more, plays with that more of an edge, getting to the dirty areas, front of the net, and has that offensive skill set and shoot first mentality. I do agree that Marcus is more of the setup man. So perfect opportunity to see both of them in action once again. Ben Macbeth is another interesting one. Again, kind of like Vanacek, one of those underrated defenders where I didn't quite get a good read on or wasn't on my radar initially. And again, kind of one of those things where it's great to see him progress. It's a good opportunity to see what I missed, and hopefully this is a good chance to get a better read on that. And Ethan McKenzie, he was a great addition for Canada at the World Juniors. Had his moments, had great moments, had bad moments as well. But being a re-entry prospect in this draft too, I think it's great to basically take another step against his peers as well. I know he's an overager, but when he's able to dominate and take that next step forward and be the best player within his age group, I think that's a great sign for him. So those are the three players that have caught my eye on each side, basically.
Yeah, lots of fun prospects again in the WHL, and lots to see. And I'm actually surprised the WHL has never really had a top prospects game, which hopefully this is now an annual thing that they'll do because it's great. I mean, you get to have the showcase of all these players and another look for the scouts and for everyone watching that to get more of a read on it. Even though it is an all-star game, it's still, you still see them and they want to impress. They want to impress whoever, was watching them for the draft. So it's good that they're able to do this this year.
I do believe that Vanhanen is a re-entry candidate. So I hope I'm still right on that, and hope that he is not first year eligible. And if so, if he is second year eligible, then it's a great opportunity for him to improve his stock and prove scouts wrong otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So looking forward to that. And we'll talk about it in the next episode to see who stood out from the game as well. So look forward to watching that game. All right. Well, there's another episode of Prospect Corner. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Dayton, for coming on as always, talking prospects. I will be, next week we'll back at it and talking. We'll cover the top prospects game. Maybe have a few more head-to-heads, or maybe look at some guys that maybe drafted later on, late round pick type gems maybe. Make sure to check out everything at thehockeydarts.com. Like I said, our prospect profiles will be out after the trade deadline and the Olympics, of course. So lots of stuff to come. And once the first one comes out, they'll be coming fast and furious. So keep an eye out on the site. Once the first one goes live, you'll get quite a few in quick succession. So check all that out. And until our next episode, we will see you next time.